Welcome to Chaos Connections, the not safe for work podcast removing the Instagram filters from life. Join us through our triumphs, laugh at and commiserate with our struggles, and, go ahead and step back and marvel at our batshit crazy lives. Just remember that fuck around and find out is our motto for a reason.
Hello, Chaos Connections listeners. This episode is episode 3 of season 2, and we are going to be talking about. Hex is going to say hi because he's a dick. We're going to be talking about self-care, and it kind of stems from the whole. It's the new year, so new year, new me is something that people strive to do, and it should actually be new year. How can I make sure I'm taking care of myself this year as opposed to trying to make a new you?
Am I the only person that, like, anytime somebody holds up a number with their hand, I just instantly think back to Shrek, and he's 3, pick number 2, my lord, and he's got like 5 fingers up and said, that's low key how I feel, because I'm not even gonna lie, like there have been times that I have been like holding up a hand gesture with a number, but like my fingers don't work like they're supposed to, so I'll be like, number 2, and my husband Joker's like, what the fuck are you doing? Live long and prosper? That is not 2. I'm like, yes it is. There, it's 2. I like hold my fingers straight. Anyway, pick number 3, my lord.
No.
All right, self-care.
I usually think of that scene from Inglourious Bastards where they're spying in the cafe and he doesn't know how Germans count on their hands.
How Germans what?
How Germans count with their fingers. Germans don't do 1, 2, 3 the way that Americans do.
What do they do?
Or the British. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, they do the thumb.
So if you
They're
go,
the thumb. They're the
so
thumb.
if you're in,
so that's actually how
if you're pretending to be German and you order 3 beers,
you're not German.
Well, no. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of cultures where if you do this to hold up the number 2, you're this is the low key way of being like, fuck off, bitch. Because
and Witchkin 2 does that fairly often when she's wanting to flip people off before she was allowed to start cussing, and she still does it to this day. So and for those of you trying to figure out what the fuck was being talked about, when I said season 2 episode 3, Harley was holding up the number of fingers for me to say the right words. If you're watching this on YouTube, this doesn't need to be explained. So congratulations, you get to see our lovely faces and my super super tired one.
And you get to see our attempts at stage whispering, but we are not quiet bitches. So our stage whisper is actually like, say 3, bitches, 3.
But so
I know my face is not lovely today, but it is clean. So there's that.
I took 2 naps today because headaches are stupid. But
I'm freshly showered, and Rain and Captain will be super thrilled to find out that I took a weed whacker to my armpits, so those are nice and cleared out now. I
thought about it and I went, nah.
I don't think we even got to witness this.
There's a bit of a story time to go with why she's calling out me and Captain for that.
I'll tell because it was
Were y'all shaming her for having body hair?
No. There was no shame. There really truly wasn't. But
I just like stirring the shit.
I went to help Rain relocate some furniture back to her home from my town, where her mother happens to live currently, but is going to be moving. Anyway, so
she's a little bitter about that part.
I was like, you know what? Texas weather, it's two-faced. That's a two-faced shiesty bitch. It'll be cold 1 second, and then it'll be like balls sweating, sticking to the side of your thigh.
And it's never cold for long enough.
So I was like, I'm gonna be smart. I'll put on a a black tank top that I'm comfortable wearing, and I'll just wear a black sweatshirt over it because at that precise
That
point
way,
in
if the
time,
sun comes out,
at that precise point in time, it was relatively chilly, and I was like, fine, I'll just wear my black sweatshirt. Well, Harley failed to consider that moving and lifting and trying to organize stuff into vehicles to transport, it can be a little sweaty. And so I was like, fine, I'm hot. I don't know if I'm hot from being active, if I'm hot from being menopausal, if I'm hot because I'm just flustered. I don't know, but I'm hot. So rather than stank up the entire freaking county, I took off my sweatshirt, not even thinking for a moment that although I have recently showered, I have not done any women's
Escaping?
scaping. So that was I was throwing back to the 70s, y'all. Hey, peace and
Oh, it could not
love.
have been that bad.
Oh,
Oh
yes,
God,
it
it
was.
was.
So
And then she gave us a which areas were longer.
I did. I gave them 1 through 3. Armpits, legs, and no square.
Yeah, it is kind of a toss-up. No, mine's a triangle.
So well,
It's a triangle,
we're
but no square from
we're
lovely drills.
okay. Anyway, and so I took off my sweatshirt before we hit the road to go back to Rain's house. So Rain didn't say anything, and this bitch, if anybody, should have been like, yo, do you want some bubble gum to try to like cheap wax it or something? Because you got some stragglers hanging out like molly like Zoidberg like hair situation. But she didn't say anything.
Oh, now I'm just picturing Harley with a squid coming out of her armpits.
Yes, fair. So Rain didn't say anything. Cutthroat Witchkin 2 didn't say anything. My Cutthroat
Savage Barbie didn't say anything?
Witchkin 2 has no room to stand on because she gets just as fucking bad because she gets just as fucking lazy.
All right. Anyway, nobody, and I do not fault in any way, shape, or form Rain's parental figures for not saying anything because although we are familiar with each other, we have met with each other and interacted multiple times, in no way, shape, or form are we close enough for either one of her parental units to be like, Harley, is that just some extra lint from your sweatshirt? Was it unknowingly fuzzy on the inside?
Well, still, like, get the weed whacker.
They had no.
So if we weren't hyper focused on other stuff that day, I can bet money my stepdad would have said something because they had plenty to say as we were trying to figure out how to make sure that Witchkin 2 and Gremlin 3 could ride in the same fucking car, and they were laughing their asses off, and it was quite comical.
Another story for another time. Okay. Anyway, so fine. Okay, everything's hunky dory. We hit the road. Me and Gremlin 3 and Witchkin 2 were cruising and moving, and we get
talking shit.
We get to Rain's house, and we're the first vehicle to arrive, and that's fine. So Captain helps us unload our cargo, and we're chilling in the garage. And then shortly after, Rain pulls up. Fine, cool, whatever. And we get Rain's car unloaded, and while we're waiting for Rain's stepdad to arrive, because he was hauling the bigger, heavier stuff. Yeah. We're sitting in the garage, and I don't know which of them said it, but they made a comment. They're like, I'm very glad that you're comfortable enough to come out.
That was Captain.
Yeah, basically it was a comment made along the lines of, you must be really comfortable with our family to showcase that.
She did the overhead stretch.
Whatever. don't
And
like.
then Captain said something.
You know what's funny is literally the day before this, I was gonna wear a tank top, and I was like, Harley, don't do that. You haven't shaved your armpits in forever. That little tidbit of knowledge disappeared when I was getting ready to go get dressed to help Rain transport her shit. And so I was blissfully unaware. And then Captain was like, and I was like, ooh. And I like instantly snapped my arms down. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I like literally completely forgot. But yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I took care of that. But my
Look,
legs aren't that bad. My legs aren't as bad as that. But
oh, mine are. I could
but
probably weave a sweater
yeah, and that's what led
because
into categorizing numerating
yeah,
worst to
Links.
least to worst. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
and the
So
reason why Raven is that way is because making smart decisions and whatnot, she stopped going to get sugared.
I did. Unemployment kind of forced me to take a good hard look at our expenses and realize that I probably didn't really need to be spending that when I have a tub that I can shave my legs in. I do not, however, have a shower that I can shave my legs in. I have a shower, but it is this big. Like,
Super tiny.
yeah, there's no way to shave your legs in there.
We
And so
also at one
sometimes,
point wanted no, we didn't suggest this. Harley suggested this of her coming and waxing our legs for us,
yeah,
and
where's that, bitch?
then
Huh?
and that
Where's
has
that
not
been?
happened.
No, sometimes self-care
Listen,
looks like washing the
listen.
things that need to be washed, but not necessarily
My
shaving the things that need to be
my
shaved.
my in order to reserve and ensure delivery of Harley's highly covetable services, there needs to be a reservation fee of some sorts. And for podcast
I'll make you mac and
listeners
cheese.
and or
Did you
viewers,
really think we
for
wouldn't?
for podcast listeners and or viewers, that would be cold hard cash. For my co-host, I can be bought in other ways, and they know this. No,
That sounds
I
so
completely forgot
wrong,
about
and
that.
she's the only one on this podcast that is not
She's
bi.
the straight one. I will tell you this though, I am dying for a live. Like
A live-
the three of us need to get together, like actually in
Ooh.
person and do a live. I'm dying for this. We need to do it. I want it to happen.
And we honestly,
and
we
I don't
could do
care if
it.
we do it while you're waxing my goddamn legs or if we're just out to dinner. I don't care.
Honestly, we could
we're
also
not-
do a live, and we could shut up for a second. Goddamn. If one of y'all don't write this time down, I'm gonna hurt you.
Where's my notebook?
We could also do a live on our socials if we are all together as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want that, then let's try to convince or reserve Harley services to come to the town in which Raven and I reside, so that we can make this happen.
Well, see, I don't care if it's here or there. I give two shits.
It's a little harder for me to get out with certain things going on at home right now.
I think I am not opposed to the idea of a live by any means. My thoughts and concerns regarding a live, number one, it will not be in a public setting. Because I do not want to live stream us getting arrested for public indecency or public.
We could milk that for cash. Come on, lady.
What's it called? Disturbance. Yeah, no. So it will be.
Harley, we did not get arrested when we went to Denny's nights when we were, staying out until 4:00 in the fucking morning when we, we're not old and fucking tired by 11.
Well, for anybody who wants to take this next comment seriously, learn to fucking read the room. It's sarcasm. If you want to spot the cocaine that we would need to stay up that late, you go right the fuck ahead. Until that happens, no, we're not doing. No. Anyway, I am more concerned with the making sure that we have appropriate equipment to pick up audio and that can run the program needed to do the live. That would be my concern. I may have some solutions, but we'll have to wait and see. We also need to decide where who wants to try to host that hilarity
I have a
and insanity.
solution for that. And
I
if that's the
have
case,
a solution for the equipment, and possibly I would need to cross-reference, which with my non-techie self, I would need to cross-reference that. But the
with the
other
techier versions of
question, the other question
the
is the locale. And basically, it's a
so
it's a coin cost, but coin cost. It's a coin toss between Rain and Raven's house.
I vote my house because we can lock my dogs out, and once they get over the fact of they can't get to mom and
They chill.
guests, they chill. Of course, we open the door, we're tripping over dogs, but
Right. Well, the other possibility is that, so listeners, we are putting Apprentice 2 through distance learning, we'll call it. It's not exactly homeschool, but it's close enough. And in order to enrich their learning and their socialization, we are going to be doing field trips. And oh my God, they're stupidly excited to be in high school and doing field trips. They're so excited because they miss them. So there's this museum that they want to go to in Harleystown. And I said, I am not driving that long to go to a museum and turn around and drive home. So if you want this to happen, you better come up with some other shit to do in that town to make it worth it. So they did.
There's the Hobbit Cafe.
There is, and there's
I still
science
wanna go back to
museums
that.
and all kinds of shit. So there's that possibility too, lol.
So since we completely got off the subject of what we were supposed to be talking about,
Yeah.
I'm trying to reel y'all back, but
My
fuck it.
bad. Okay. Well, self-care. Okay. First of all, low key, that does tie back into self-care because making sure that you nurture and take time to grow and develop and ensure longevity of the ties that you have with others, that feeds back into self-care because you trying to run this life solo, more power to you. You're not
No.
going to make it very far.
It sucks. I've done it. It sucks. It's tiring, it's grueling, and
and
it's
someone
lonely.
has
It's lonely.
not she's gotten better. Raven has gotten better about realizing she does have a tribe.
I thought you were going to call
But there
me
are
out for a
times that
minute. I was
she's
like,
you are a prideful bitch, and you will try to go things solo until you're like, oh wait, I have people. Most of the time it's because I call you and I'm like, bitch, are you alive? And I have to message Joker or call Joker and be like, hey, where's your wife? And then you're like, oh yeah, I have people.
no, what ends up
No, I
happening is
actually did that the other day.
I reveal the general synopsis of whatever issue I am trying to handle. But I do it in a way of this is what I'm dealing with. And then when my lovely, lovely besties are like, Harley, let us help, I turn around and like go like feral beast mode and like growl to make them back away. And I'm like, I will let you know if I need help.
And I am the one that, as I like to say, curls up with the monsters, and I'm going to sit there and be like, you can growl all you fucking want. Stop your shit.
It just turns me on.
This is a whole different kind of conversation. This is not the topic we want to discuss. All right.
No,
Curl
actually,
up with the
the other
monsters
day,
is not just in regards to people I date, because I've dated some serious questionable people, but it's my friend group and everything else. I'm normally the adult or more level-headed one.
The other day, Apprentice 2's car needed some serious brake work done. And so I hadn't driven it yet. All I knew is what he told me. And at this point, he's taken my car because it's, according to him, a little safer. So fuck it, whatever. And so Apprentice 2 and I get in his car because we're bored. We're stir crazy. And I start backing out of the driveway, and I feel and hear what's going on with those brakes, and I'm like, oh fuck no, how fucking long has this been going on? How long has he been driving like this? And so we're figuring out, you know, the logistics of getting that taken care of, making sure he gets to work, blah blah. And Apprentice 2 is like, Mom, don't forget, we can ask Rain if we can borrow a car. And I was like, that's really sweet, sweetheart. We can, but we can't because Rain is having issues too. So we actually did think about
Apprentice 2 remembered. And that was when I was working from home and I wasn't hardly using my car, and they only had one car, and they rented a car, and then I kind of fussed at her for renting a car. It's like, why are you renting a car when you can borrow mine for free?
Yeah.
I'm around the fucking corner.
So
because I handle my own shit.
So we, when we were initially, when we were doing what we normally do as the moms of chaos, which is fly by the seat of our pants, and you know, we invoke our Pocahontas spirit and go where the wind leads us. Anyway, so we were talking about what we wanted to discuss for today's episode, and we kind of threw around a couple of ideas, and I think Rain said that she Rain had like low key referenced self-care, but I like more directly said I want to talk about self-care, and I even said in the chat, like, this is legit something that I have been struggling with is self-care, and and it's not, I don't make conscientious decisions to disregard my self-care. And I'm talking from, you know, high level self-care of you know, going out and doing something to treat yourself, down to basic, you know, take a shower and wash your funky ass self-care. All right, I'm talking about the whole spectrum. But like I said, I don't make a deliberate choice to ignore taking care of my self-care, even addressing the most basic means of self-care. But
Instead, you know,
it's honestly one of those things that it's you know, I think it happens a lot to parents. I, you know, and obviously being that I have identified as the mother role, I can say that I feel like it's probably, that happens most definitely to moms, but I know it also happens to dads. Is that
it happens when you get rolled up in your kids, and what they need takes the forefront.
But even for people who don't have kids, they get,
oh yeah, it's easy to get
hyper focused on other things.
Yeah,
and
you
other
get
people.
tunnel vision on okay, you know, at work, my job is counting on me to help get X, Y, and Z done. And so you get tunnel vision and hyper focused on getting those things. If you have pets, you're like, okay, work is done and I need to make sure that my pets are, you know, taken care of, you know, and you get tunnel vision on those things. And so by the time the day is coming to a close, you're like, you know, you're tapped. You're just tapped out completely. And you're sitting there, you know, like, damn, I need to take my ass to bed or I'm going to pass out in the middle of my living room, look like a murder scene type of scenario, right? Sorry, too much true crime, my bad. All right. So, but you get to the point where you're like, I need to go to bed. And then you're like, oh yeah, I need to take a shower. I need to brush my teeth.
Oh fuck, I still have makeup on.
Oh yeah, I need to go and take my regular medication or this, that, or the other. And when you I don't know. I can't say that this happens to everybody, but I feel like in some way, shape, or form it does. But you look at like this checklist of things that you feel need to be done to address you and your personal needs. And like for me, sometimes I look at that at the end of the day and I'm like, God, that's so much shit to do. It just seems like this monumental mountain of tasks that I need to complete. And I have no energy to even begin to try to strategize on how to knock out those tasks. And so I things fall. Things fall
That's
through the
normal.
cracks and things just get postponed, pushed back. I took a shower yesterday. I can, I'm not, I didn't have, sharks today, so I'll be good until tomorrow or whatever. I don't,
Fucking
yes,
poo.
it always goes
Oh my
back to poo.
God.
It always goes back to poo. I'm sorry. I don't know how else. I don't know. Okay. Retract the shark statement. I didn't break a sweat today, so I don't smell like garlic. All right, I can continue on. I don't know. I don't know, but you find justifications for not completing all
It's
of your
easy.
self-care, basic self-care tasks, and then it snowballs.
You don't even always find justifications. You're just like, I'm tired. I'm not thinking about it. I'm going to bed.
So I've started, like, I've done that so much that there's so much stuff in my house that needs to be unfucked now because of that kind of an attitude. And so I've started putting some guardrails in place. Like, I want to start hiking. I want to get out in the fresh air. I want to exercise. I want to get stronger. But every time I say I'm going to go hiking this weekend, it doesn't happen. So I started making reservations online ahead of time, which means I have to pay for them ahead of time, which means I can't skip it because I've already fucking paid for it, right? So I'm setting some things in place like that to kind of force me to do stuff. And then the other one that's really helped is making sure that whenever I go to bed or the house goes to bed, that either the dishwasher is running or the sink is empty. And that has helped a fuck ton, because then you're not facing the next day, or at least I'm not facing the next day with a sink and a counter full of dirty fucking dishes, and I just need to make my fucking coffee, and it's shitty. Ooh, and I've started making so I started making my protein coffee ahead of time, like the night before, because I like it cold, right? And I was listening to one of the menopause experts, and she was saying that when women get to this age, okay, so let me be a little bit more inclusive. When uterus havers get to this age and you start declining in estrogen, right? If we don't get enough fiber and protein in our daily diets, that is what can help us get into a nursing home when we're older. That's what helps us fall. That's what helps us not be as strong and not walk like a normal person. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to get some fiber. So now I'm getting like 30 grams of protein and a cup of coffee and like 6 grams of fiber in the morning. And I'm actually feeling a little bit better.
Okay. Withhold the inevitable comment that is going to come when I ask this question, because my knowledge is obviously not as extensive as it should be. I thought fiber was to help you poo.
Actually, fiber is for that, but your body pulls minerals and nutrients out of it too. And it helps a lot of, I don't have all the info, but it helps a lot of things. And most people, especially in America, we're not getting enough protein in our diets. We're not getting enough fiber in our diets. We're not getting enough water. We're not getting enough vitamin D of either description. But
I can, so I know, I am not, please, there's no innuendo in what I'm about to say. For the love of God, I know you guys are going to take it there. Not just my co-host, but the listeners as well. I am not in any way, shape, or form hurting for protein in my diet. I get plenty of protein. All right.
Are you sure? Have you done the calculators? Are you actually getting enough? And not by injection.
Do we really need to have this discussion? Because you are asking a question, and when I give you the answer, you're gonna be like, God damn it, Harley, again. Do you know what
Well,
happens
now you know.
when you have an excessive amount of protein in your diet and you have such an excess of protein intake and therefore are lacking pretty significantly in other dietary nutrients? When you have just primarily protein in your diet, it makes your bathroom trips very uncomfortable. And Harley is speaking from experience. And yes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, Rain and
leads back to
Raven, it is
poo.
again going back to poo. I think my obsession with
So-
poo has to do with the fact that I was so jealous of being able to have like a nice, healthy, normal poo for so long until I underwent my revision surgery, and now I can poo gloriously. By the way, I stopped myself from texting you guys the other day when I was like, I just had the most just glorious release. I didn't text
Okay.
it.
So let me let me go into something else.
That might be why my TikTok's not fitting well today, though. Just go ahead.
So one of the reasons why you need to make sure you have enough protein in your diet is because when you are using muscles or losing weight, because all three of us are on a weight loss journey of different calibers. But if you don't have enough protein, your body will start taking protein from other areas of your body, which would be your muscles, which is why you get, if you don't have enough protein and you're, burning through stuff, you get weaker as opposed to getting stronger.
And your heart's a muscle.
It
Just
is.
Keep that in mind.
It is.
You kind of need your ticker.
I mean, I can. It's been argued that I don't really have a heart, but
I mean, same, but there is a muscle in there that does shit, even if it's not like my heart.
I mean, I did spawn Savage Barbie, so
there is some sort of like biological mass that does the
Yeah, it's
function
like
of
right
what
here, and it pumps blood around.
you know what? It's not a heart, but it is
It's a battery.
cardiac muscle.
See, there we go. Yeah,
cardiac muscle, battery, whatever you want to say.
And
but
it's
regardless
not
of what you're like,
random
it's not
thing.
shaped like
only,
this.
Excuse me.
It's shaped like this. Just the
the
big.
only organ that actually got to name itself was the brain.
The
that's
pinky
true.
and the brain.
Brain.
Sorry.
No, regardless of your activity level or your, fitness or any of that bullshit, okay? I don't give a shit how you're shaped or formed or your athleticism. You need to get enough protein in your diet because it helps to stabilize your joints and your bones, because I mean, really, we are just a walking mech suit, okay? We're
A walking
salty
what?
meat piloting a mech suit.
Mech suit.
Oh my god, y'all! I need to stop watching true crime because I swear to God, I heard you say meth suit, and I was like, that is not accurate.
No. See, I still have all my teeth, so
I have
no. But
most of them.
if you don't have, like, if you're not powering your muscles, they're gonna start to decline, and then you are gonna end up in a nursing home. And spoiler alert, I don't fucking want that.
So
I would rather Evel Knievel than live in a nursing home.
So here's the thing about making sure that you're getting the nutrients and things that you need. In season 1, we talked about a great many things, one of which was Witchkin 2, Savage Barbie, whatever we want to refer to her as, dealing with a eating disorder. Again, her eating disorder is not the typical eating disorder. But that had when she did it.
Can I real quick, because I feel like if you are relatively new to this podcast, you're going to hear eating disorder and your brain and thought process is going to go one particular direction because that is just what society
in the popular
sees
lexicon
as an eating disorder. However, what Witchkin 2 is is dealing with, it is although it is classified as an eating disorder because it
That's only because it
affects
involves
her
eating.
food intake, it is actually more aligned with a mental diagnosis as opposed to what some would consider you know, a
Body
cosmetic
dysmorphia.
issue.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rain.
No, you're good. So because she did have to go to inpatient, but she had to go to inpatient because no matter what we were doing, it was not really helping, and she got down to a very low weight, and she did not have the strength to do anything or anything like that. And my co-host can attest to this because they saw the basket case that I was, and they saw me freaking out, and they saw her, trying to do what she always does, and it's like, no, I'm good. I ate.
Please understand that yes, we as quote unquote outsiders did see the impact that it was having on Rain and Captain and on Witchkin 2 as outsiders. Yes, we observed that. But please understand that we were also invested as insiders to the situation.
Because they're her aunts,
Because
as far as we're concerned.
because I can assure you that, we affectionately will call each other's kids our nieces and nephews. But make no mistake, if you or anyone or anything messes with any of the children that this lioness
God
herd
help you.
deals with, you're not going to have a single mama bear with two crazy best friends. You're going to have 3 psychotic mama bears coming after you. You better hope one of them has taken their fucking meds and can rein the other 2 in, because if not, you will never be found.
She's been watching a lot of true crime, and
Not even
she's not
pieces.
wrong.
Yeah, well, at the time of Witchkin 2's diagnosis, they were living around the corner from us, and Witchkin 2 and Apprentice 2 would come home to my house in the afternoons, and, Witchkin 2 only had a few things that she would eat that were not crackers or popcorn. So I'm going to the grocery store, I'm going to get those things so that I have them for when she's here, because you need fucking protein.
Yeah,
like,
and
you can eat popcorn. Go ahead, go to the movies at dinner time and eat that whole bucket of popcorn and think you're not hungry, right? And what's going to happen 2 hours later? You're going to be hungry because you didn't fucking eat anything.
And don't even now. I hope that I'm not speaking out of turn, Rain.
You're good.
But although Witchkin 2 has made some phenomenal progress in this, what is going to be a lifelong struggle, lifelong battle that she's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, she's made some huge strides.
We do not for 1 second let the progress that she has made affect and cause us to lower our guards, because
hell no.
just the funny armpit hair story that we just told you guys a couple minutes ago, during that same encounter, I was going to be the Gremlin 3 and Witchkin 2 were going to be riding in the car with me. And I was going to be making sure that we stopped and got them something to eat, like an actual meal. And I pulled Rain aside, and my first question was, how is Witchkin 2 doing so far? How has she been doing with the eating and things? Because that's something that we don't regularly bring up and discuss. We normally kind of go with the assumption that things are going smoothly unless there's a crisis.
Wait until I lose my shit. Wait till I lose my shit, and then yeah.
But knowing that Witchkin 2 is going to have to be dealing with this for a while, my first question to Rain was, how is this going? Are there any struggles that I need to be made aware of? And my follow-up question to that was, where, because I was already planning on stopping to get food for the kids, but I wanted to make sure what options can I present so they still get the novelty of choosing where they get their food from. What options can I present as far as restaurants for them to get something to eat, number one, and number two, if they are going to order their food, what do I need to be looking on the lookout for? Because Witchkin 2, love her to death. She is a chicken nuggies girl through and through. My girl, right? But okay, so I'm gonna get her chicken nuggies, but just because I might order, for example, my kids might want a quarter pounder with cheese value meal or whatever. Just because I know that's what they normally get doesn't mean that they're going to normally consume the entire meal. So my follow-up question to Rain was, okay, if Witchkin 2 orders, chicken nuggies, can I get her this many? And if I get her this many, what would be an acceptable amount for her to have consumed before being like, okay, she's good, or I need to be a little pushy and, make her eat some more. So this is, we take a very active role, especially when there's something that one of the children of us three are dealing with. We make sure that we are mindful of that situation when we're taking the lead on parenting for that short period or whatever. Supervising.
Not only that, but like sometimes self-care looks like reaching out for fucking help. Like Apprentice 2, we're pretty sure they're autistic. I need to get them evaluated, but I'm pretty sure. So
did you call the place I told you about?
Did you text it to me?
Yes.
Then no, I'll have to go back and look. Anyway,
I'll text it to you again because we text a lot.
God, we do. So Apprentice 2 has autistic like food issues. Like there's certain textures, there's certain flavors, there's they might be in the mood for the X all week long, and the next week nope, kind of like a toddler with bananas, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll be talking to Rain and Harley. I'm like, yo, what the fuck can I feed this kid? Because they cannot exist on fries or snacks. And the other night, they like when we're like when they're on break or it's a weekend or something, we're a little bit more lax on schedules and whatnot. And so it was like 9:00. They came downstairs to get something to eat. And I said, hey, what you doing? And they said, oh, I'm going to get some 3.14. And I went, no, you're going to get some real food before you get any pie.
Oh yeah.
That was a nice try though.
Yeah. No, we but yeah, it's you know what? I don't honestly give two flying fucks what anybody thinks of me bringing up what I talk about in my therapy, because quite frankly, Harley and Rain and Raven are hosting this podcast and you're choosing to listen. And if you don't like what I'm saying, you can choose to not listen or fast forward. That's fine. That's a-okay. But I was actually talking to my therapist in my most recent session episode, and she is aware, my therapist is aware that self-care is something that I do tend to struggle with. So, sometimes I get in a really good routine and I'm doing awesome and everything's going smoothly, and sometimes sometimes it falls off. And so in almost every single session, my therapist will ask me, how are things going with self-care? What have you been doing to practice self-care? And I felt kind of silly saying this to her, but she understood. I said, I went through, I had weight loss surgery at the end of September. Long story short, I initially had the lap band, and I had that for a couple of years, and went back to my gastric surgeon, and gastric surgeon said, yeah, let's take out the lap band and just do a gastric sleeve. Cool, fine, whatever. Got it done at the end of September. And so if anybody says it looks like Harley is slowly withering away, thank you. It was done on purpose. And there have been some little milestones that I've celebrated, but I'm not going to share with you because, well, I'm about to share one of them anyway. But my therapist was like, what have you been doing to practice self-care? And I was like, I've been doing okay, da 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 da. I said, but one thing that I did recently that I'm sure most people who, and she had to correct me when I said this. I said most normal people. And she was like, honestly, Harley, how many quote unquote normal people are there? And I was like, I don't know. I just know I'm not one of them. She was like, calm down, you're fine.
A lot of them.
But I said, one of the things that I did to practice self-care is because of my weight reduction. I encountered an unfortunate situation where some underoos weren't underooing the way that they're supposed to underoo, and I was having to do like a weird shuffle with like basically mega plumber's crack going on, hopefully underneath the pajama pants, but I can't say that with 100% certainty, and I'm not gonna revisit that trauma to any of my household members. So anyway, so I was like, so I got to go and got to, make some purchases. And, I didn't go off the deep end. But I got some nice new undies, and I got some bras that,
actually fit,
actually do what bras are supposed to do and don't just look like an oversized bowl for a cup of Jello. So, but that's but that was, it's silly, but it really was, some self-care that I got to do, because if I know that if I've talked about this before, I'm very goal driven. Okay. I push myself very, very hard, sometimes too hard. And it's not good anyway, but I am also aware that if I pause and take time to pat myself on the back for a job well done,
you want someone to smack her ass and call her a good girl.
Shut up. So I can, if I can take the time to do that. However, I have to be very aware that I am not taking that self pat on the back of, wow, good job, Harley, you made it this far, keep going. I have to make sure that I don't just focus on I did a good job, and then use that, well, I was able to accomplish so much and do a good job, but I was really, really giving like 110%. Maybe if I just dial it back to like 80 or 75%, I can still make progress and I won't be so stressed out. And I don't know any
that
sort
85%
of
turns into zero.
I don't. Yeah.
She's 150 or zero.
So
I don't half-ass things. I either whole-ass them or I no-ass them. There is no in between.
That's basically what happens. So that little shopping adventure, I explained to my therapist. I was like, it was nice to kind of pause and give myself some accolades for the progress that I have made, because I have, made efforts to, maintain diet and not overindulge and blah, blah, blah. I said, but I also tend to, take that to an extreme and then completely derail myself. And she was like, no. She's like, I understand the concern. She goes, but having that concern and being aware and being mindful so that you don't take steps to sabotage yourself is just, keep that in mind, but don't use that as an excuse to not give yourself credit and, in essence, engage in that form of self-care. Because if you don't ever give yourself time to acknowledge some, to others might seem like small, tasks, but to you they're like climbing Mount Everest. If you don't take time to say, fucking hell, yesterday was a fucking shitstorm, but you know what? I managed to finish work. I made dinner. I actually ate dinner instead of just smoking a cigarette and going to bed. And I took time to take a shower and wash my stinky butt. So I did a hell of a good job. I did my best. And
So
that's, important.
and it's important to give yourself credit, because otherwise you're just you're gonna get down on yourself. We are almost at time, so I'm not gonna go into this, but this is to be something we talk about next time, is how to combat self-sabotage.
Oh, bro.
So
If you figure it out, fucking let me know.
I honestly think it would be why a topic would be good. But
I'm going to make
take
a
each
note of that
day
shit
as
so we don't ADHD and forget it.
Okay.
so take each day as a challenge, especially to my goal-driven co-hosts that don't half-ass anything. Whereas I have been known to half-ass things because I am lazy. Or I go balls to the wall and I have no choice but to not do anything for 3 days because I overdo it.
No, hold on. There are some things that are worth half-assing. Because if you don't have the energy to take a full shower, half-ass your shower and just wash your hair or just wash your ass. If you don't have the energy to do the whole teeth routine, fucking half-ass it and do something.
If I'm going to half-ass a shower, I'm going to wash my body, and you're going to have to see some oily hair in a bun. I will half-ass that.
But yeah, there are things that is totally okay to half-ass.
So what I was saying is treat each day like a challenge. So set up little challenges and, hey, I made it through the day. I did all of the things that I need to do on my self-care routine. I did all the things I needed to do for work. And, give yourself a sticker or give yourself a fucking cookie or what the fuck ever. Give yourself something little when you accomplish that. And then it keeps that dopamine going.
And honestly,
chase the fucking dopamine, especially if you're dealing with mental issues of any description. Chase the fucking dopamine.
Giving yourself a little, giving yourself the occasional pat on the back is actually, it's a small thing and it might seem stupid and insignificant, but if you develop that habit, that is actually a great stepping stone to overcoming negative self-talk.
It is, and that actually segues into another topic idea that I just thought of, which is fantastic and stupidly easy ways to improve your self-esteem.
Okay, so just in case you listeners have missed it, the next 2 episodes are going to be kind of heavy-handed. But we did start this year off going very lighthearted, and we ended off last season going lighthearted. So we figured we're just going to grab you by the short and curlies and drag you along with us.
We're just going to grab you by the balls and say, you know what? You're coming with me.
Someone has been reading a lot of...
I love to read the spicy books,
smut.
And I'm on a subreddit for that type of spicy book, and I've gotten a lot of recs, and my TBR is really, really long. So sorry.
Oh, so's mine, but so is Savage Barbies, and she's actually reading. So yeah, I'm gonna let it go for the I'm gonna let it go for the fact that she's reading smut, and just go for the yay, she's finally fucking reading. It's taking me so fucking long. Kind of like from what was it, Bringing Down the House with Queen Latifah and Steve Martin. Was it Steve Martin?
I have not seen that one. At any rate,
Steve Martin. And it was his son was was reading, and it was one of his magazines, and he was like, "What is he reading? What is wrong with you? I'm so proud of you. What is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. And I'm like, well, she's 17, so fuck it.
But she's reading.
But she's reading. But so on that note, we are going to close out this episode, and we just want to remind you, give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself some grace. New year, new me. No. Fuck that shit. Be you, and just the only person you're competing with is the you were yesterday.
Just work on fine tuning, not a complete overhaul.
Oh yeah, no, not there is no new year, new me. There is new year, same old sarcastic me, but trying to get a little bit better than I was.
Preach. All right, I'm
'Cause
gonna
that's my
be muted.
competition.
New
so
year,
my
new
co-host
year,
can
new
just do
savage
the
me.
thing.
Okay.
But you can always find us on our socials, on our website, mocmediatx.com, as I, butcher that. And we will catch you next week. Bye.
Love y'all. Go take a shower.
I don't want to.